Okay, I think this looks like it's working, and if it does, I'm super 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 impressed. Right. So today I want to hello and assalamu alaikum and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today I want to speak to you about just literally. I was thinking I'm going to talk about this subject, and then I got a message in WhatsApp, and I changed what I'm going to be speaking about. And today I'm going to be speaking to you about coaching lessons that I learned from a 5-year-old. Now, a few weeks ago, we had some friends and family around, and I always like to, play around with the kids every now and then, and just find out, what are they interested in life, what's happening with them, what their targets are, what are they doing. I'm kind of like that, both the really annoying auntie, but also the one that people want to have around them so that they can get that little bit of an extra push in their lives, if you know what I mean. Often, when we're in social gatherings, people will come to me with their challenges and whatever, and I have no issue kind of trying to problem solve and help them out. It's all good. But I especially love doing that kind of thing with kids. And so I set 3 kids, in fact, I actually set 5 kids a challenge a couple of weeks ago, and the first results are in. The challenge was that as Muslims, we're supposed to pray 5 times a day. And I love it when kids have an awareness of where they are with their own kind of relationship with their faith, and when they are striving to do better, right? So I kind of, and the parents were in the room, and I said to the kids, okay, so how many prayers are you doing a day? And some of them were like, maybe one every now and then. And I'm talking about kids under the age of 8, right? So this is not teenagers or, older kids who should be a bit more responsible for managing themselves. So some of them, the younger ones were like 1, some of them were none. And I basically set them a challenge. And the challenge involved creating their own checklist, and then kind of with their parents identifying how many prayers a day they could do. So some of the kids were set a target of 1 a day, some were set 2 a day. And I think in the holidays, a couple of the older kids got 3 a day. And I got the first set of results in today. What I'd said was once the first week is over, I want to see I want your parents to send me an image or a photo of the checklist that's been completed by you. And then if you do it well, then I'll give you a prize. So I negotiated the prize. I negotiated the number. Well, actually, me and the kids negotiated the prize, the number of what was it? The number of prayers that they would do on a daily basis. And then it was literally like, okay, let's see what happens. And it was really interesting because I realized from the message that I got that the kids were really, really excited. I mean, they were so keen to be involved and to be doing this. And they all improved. And we had a couple of kids who weren't really doing many prayers at all. I mean, in fact, they didn't really want to engage with their prayers. And they're now gone to a stage where they were doing 3. And the thing is, right now, you may be thinking, okay, why are you giving them a chocolate button or whatever it is as a gift? And I'll be honest with you, I think sometimes the incentive needs to be enough to persuade, right? So if I'd said, and actually the big prize was, taking them out for a drink and a cake somewhere. But the little prizes are the things that kept them going. Right now, there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from that, because if you've got something that you're trying to achieve, or if you've got a habit that you're trying to pick up in your life, then what are the little things that you can start doing, that you literally, you're negotiating with yourself. You create your own reward. You kind of work out, okay, so I've got this much time. What can I fit in? What's going to be realistic? What will be a stretch for me? If I achieve this milestone, what am I going to gift myself? Right? It's not actually rocket science. And then, you know, when you get to a bigger milestone, you give yourself a bigger gift. So, for example, I always use running because it's an easy, it's something that we can all understand, right? Let's say you want to do a half marathon or a 10K, right? So you're going to give yourself the prize of, I don't know, I don't want to give any, say, I don't, prizes that are always food are not good, because it kind of, it's setting a interesting relationship up with food. So I think that, you know, cakes and chocolates and stuff like that, it's nice every now and then as a treat, but I don't know if it's good for a reward, because then, like, you know, imagine you complete your half marathon or whatever it is that you've set yourself up to do, and then you reward yourself with a cake. And I don't know, I'm not quite sure about that. I'm just kind of adjusting my phone a wee bit. I'm hoping the audio is okay on Instagram then. Okay, so so let's look at running, right? So your aim is to do a 10K or a half marathon, right? You start a program like Couch to 5K, which literally begins you from walking and not running at all and takes you up to 5K in the space of 9 weeks. You can then go from 5K to 10K in another 9 weeks, right? You achieve the first 9 weeks, you give yourself a prize. You achieve the next 9 weeks, you give yourself another prize. But here's the kicker, here's the really, really important thing. Every week, as you achieve something, there should be some acknowledgement, there should be some kind of reward, because if there isn't, chances are you might get frustrated, because even though you know that there's progress being made, where's the acknowledgement of that? Where's the satisfaction? Now, it doesn't even need to be a big prize. What's really, really interesting is that this time last year, I was doing something called Red January, which involved kind of running 5K a day for the whole month of January. And the aim of it was really to kind of raise awareness about mental health and help to improve your individual mental health. And I love it. I think running is an amazing exercise for both psychological health but also physical health. And I joined late, but I still managed to do my 5K a day. Now this year I'm doing the same thing, but I'm doing it with a little bit of a different exercise. And what's really interesting is even just having a checklist is enough. So look back at these kids, right? For them, the initial kind of assessment came from them actually, it came from them designing their checklist, being involved at that stage, and then also being responsible for writing in their achievement on a daily basis. That's how you get results. You monitor yourself on a daily basis. You assess where you are on a daily basis. You kind of literally, you set your targets and you check in on yourself regularly. There's no point in doing this stuff like, you know, once a week and saying, you know, how am I doing? Because you may not actually have any idea, because you've left yourself, you've kind of, let's say you get to day 4 and you haven't done anything the first few days. Well, you've lost those few days. Whereas if you've got this checklist and you're actually monitoring yourself regularly, then you can see exactly where you are, right? So if the time comes where you then want to take stock and maybe kind of do something else, maybe push yourself a wee bit harder, or if you're finding that it's too much, you can do that because you've had the opportunity for evaluation, because literally you have a checklist. So if there's something that you want to do, I'm always going to encourage you, make your own checklist. You don't need anything fancy. Look, there's millions of diaries and, you know, checklists and, you know, plans and all of these other things. They're fantastic. And if you want to do that, Absolutely. I mean, I've got like 2 planners on the go at the same time, and I've got my Google Calendar and everything else, and it all functions and it all helps me. But do you know the one thing that always pushes me over the edge and really, really enables me to get some very, very powerful results? Checklists. So my biggest kind of lesson for you today in terms of how you can really elevate your life, how you can get yourself to that place where you've always wanted to be, how you can do the things that you're striving for, is to have checklists. This works whether you're doing it for your own kind of aspirations for life in general, or whether you're doing it to grow your business. Whatever your aims are, right, you've got to be monitoring it. So if you don't take stock and if you don't review, you're never going to know the direction that you're going in. And I'll tell you something, it's interesting because it's just coming to my mind now. I view checklists like a roadmap, right? Let's say you want to get from A to B, right? You need a map. You know, here's the interesting thing. Whenever I'm on an aeroplane, you know, there's so many different things I can do. I can read my books. I've always got some work with me. I can watch movies. But every now and then, I need to go to the flight mapper, right, to see where are we in the routes, how much time is left, right? What kind of miles and kilometers have we covered? What's the time in the destination where we're going to? Why? Because we all want to be able to kind of like place ourselves. We want to know where we are, and this is how checklists help us. This is how the map on the airplane helps us. Gosh, even if you're going to work or to school, or to even if you're going out, you know, traveling, whatever it is that you're doing with your time, you always assess where you are on your journey. So please, whatever it is that you want to achieve in your life, make a little checklist and then see how you're progressing on a daily basis. Now, your next question may be, well, how do I make a checklist? Gosh, all you need is a blank piece of paper. You put the 7 days of the week on it. You can write down what days you're going to be, what your target is, what your aspiration is for each day. And then as you do it, you just go in and you just cross off each and every day. It isn't really that complicated. The complicated thing is you doing the work, right? I've now told you my coaching lessons from a 5-year-old. I mean, literally, it was like a 10-15 minute conversation with like 8 kids. And it's had an impact a week later. If you're watching this on Instagram, on YouTube, or on Facebook, you've got to be over 13. You understand what I'm asking, right? You're able to do it. You're smart enough. I mean, if you can understand the words that I'm saying, I know that you are smart enough to implement this. In many respects now, it's just over to you. It's now on you whether you're going to implement this or not. And no one is going to be there to basically say, you know, come on, let's get it done. It's literally, it's in your control. You know, you can even think, you know, you've got, you know, people in your family that support you and everything else. But I'll tell you one thing, you get your checklist, you print it out. When it's on the wall or wherever you put it, it's between you and that checklist, and that's it. You do the work, nobody else, right? And I'm committed. I am committed to your success, right? I'm genuinely committed to your success. And one thing I think is important for me to tell you, because you may not hear this from anybody else, but I believe in you. I believe in your ability. I believe that you are capable of things beyond what you can even imagine. I just want you to believe that too. So, if you've got any comments or if you've got any kind of questions for me related to this, then please just pop them below the video now. I'm just going to do a quick check to see if anything has come up. And if it hasn't, then I'm just going to say bye and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you so much to Ghazala on Facebook. Thank you to Suleiman. On Instagram, to Ahmed, Abu Natasha, Arizuzan. It's lovely to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining live. If you are watching the recording, then again, you can just pop your comment below. Make sure you do kind of just type in replay. It's always nice for me to know who is watching, who is listening. So when I get my messages from you guys, then it just makes it easier for me to respond because I know who you are. So, you know where I am. Just send me a message and I'll pick that up. Okay, lovely to see you all, and I will see you tomorrow. So bye to Facebook, bye to Instagram, and bye to YouTube. There we go.